It's Thursday on Colorado Sports Night. We knew it was priority number one for these new owners, and now Russell Wilson locked in long term. We're going to hear from Mr. $245 million himself, plus a win for Russ, a major home run for George Paton in the front office, why this deal has both sides celebrating.
And tonight our big get is Todd Davis. He takes us into the locker room on how the team is reacting to such a big contract and how this sets up Broncos country for the next 7 years. I'm Mick Miller.
And I'm Taylor Kilgore, and this is Colorado Sports Night.
From Colorado's very own Channel 2, this is Colorado Sports Night, presented by Hyundai.
We're thrilled to announce a 5-year contract extension and long-term commitment to Russell Wilson through the 2028 season.
Obviously, number one focus is winning. You know, that's why I came here, is to win. We want to make this a destination location, and we're on that journey right now. We're really looking forward to it. Broncos country, let's ride.
Cue Mick Miller.
Broncos country. Let's ride to the bank with Russell Wilson, because that check is big. I mean, we knew that this was going to happen, but when the news got announced this morning, first of all, the news woke me up.
Bright and early.
Second of all, that's a great way to wake up. I mean, even though none of that money is going to my account, but is there a guy in the league that deserves a contract like that more than Russell Wilson?
I think we're all celebrating, and we will be celebrating for a long time. Certainly deserving, but what a great way to go into Labor Day weekend. You know,
absolutely.
We were thinking, oh, Broncos kind of taking it slow this week. Nope. We got this.
And then we got the Seahawks.
Boom. Woo. Let's go. Coming up soon. Today, we just said it, the perfect way to cap off an already historic offseason for the Broncos. Russell Wilson now locked in for the next 7 years, 5-year extension worth $245 million, 165 of that guaranteed money. All angles of this negotiations we're celebrating today. The Broncos have their guy under center, stability at the quarterback position for the first time since Peyton Manning retired. For Russ, he has his new long-term home with an organization as championship-driven as he is.
To me, what it's really about is being able to win championships and being able to have enough space in the salary cap so George can make his magic. We want to make this a destination location.
Now the Broncos and Wilson have exactly what they wanted, a long-term commitment. Russ says he wants to play another decade. He wants to finish his career in Denver. Now pen has hit paper, and both sides couldn't be happier.
So I fell asleep, and then the phone rang. I don't know what time, maybe 11:45, and it was a FaceTime. It was Russ and Sierra. And I couldn't figure out the phone, so I lost them. And I was like, were they going to ask for more money? What are they doing? And so they called again. I answered, and it was one of the best phone calls I've ever received, you know, to see Sierra and Russ, and even Mark was on the call.
He wakes up, and he's like, oh, what's up? He's like, I'm like, George, we got a deal. He's like, yeah. He's slowly waking up out of it.
Pretty cool stuff, you know, and I'll remember that. You know, that's the best deal, and the best I felt after a deal.
Talk about a dynamic duo. Well done, George Paton. It was never a question of if the Broncos wanted Wilson long term. It was just how much it was going to cost. And while $245 million is a boatload of money, it still allows for the Broncos to continue to make plays for playmakers, bringing in the pieces to help this team be successful.
I think what's important too is making sure that you surround yourself around amazing players, you know. And so for me, you know, I love these guys, man. We've had them in a blast. It's been an amazing joy. And so for me, it wasn't really about, you know, how much necessarily. It was about how many Super Bowls we can win, and that's really the focus.
Goals. Talk more fun in Broncos country. Todd Davis, former NFL linebacker. Todd, my first question for you. Did today's news make you want to go back in time and choose to play quarterback?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I'm kind of frustrated with my high school coaches and my Pee Wee coaches. They didn't even try me out. They could at least seen if I had an arm, seen if I could throw. I probably would have, you know, been sitting real pretty right now, but definitely was playing the wrong position.
Yeah, in all seriousness, a big day in Broncos country with the news locking in Russell Wilson long term. Your first reaction when you saw the news?
I thought it was great. I think it's great for the team. I feel like it was a team-friendly deal to where they still have cap space to really grow the team and bring people in to build championships and win championships, because I know that's what Russell Wilson is here for. But I think it's also great for him to be locked in before he ever takes a snap as a Broncos quarterback. It shows him that this team wants you here, and as a player, that's very important to be somewhere that you're appreciated and wanted.
I know there's an unwritten rule in the locker room that you don't talk about other people's money. So when we, the media, come into the locker room, they're like, hey, how do you feel about Russell Wilson's contract? You can't necessarily be like, either he didn't deserve it, or that's way too much, or I'm jealous. But does it really matter to the locker room? Does it matter to Courtland Sutton? Does it matter to some of the guys that just made the roster when a big contract like this is announced?
I think it matters because it's exciting and it lets you know where the team is putting its focus for the years to come. So it also lets you know where you should hope to fall in line. And if you're up for a contract and you know they're breaking records with, you know, the contracts they're giving out, hopefully you feel like you're up next. And usually the quarterback is usually the highest paid player on the team. So Courtland's probably like, you know, I may not be able to get 245, maybe I can get 205, you know, so he's probably gauging that himself.
And a deal like this, when you look at a 5-year extension, 7 years, Russell Wilson staying in Denver, what kind of confidence does that give a locker room? Because, yeah, you know that we have something steady that's going to be here for a very long time. I mean, it's got to give everyone a little better vibe, right?
For sure. I mean, if you look at the past couple of years, the only thing that they've had is unsteady at the quarterback position. So for them to have a sure fit, know that he's our guy for the next 7 years, it gives a lot of people confidence in the future. You know, building a championship team takes time, so it gives them the ability to feel confident that that's what the team is going at.
When these players get these big contracts, and so much of the discussion around the media sometimes is, did he deserve it or did he not deserve it? Once you work your entire career to get that first big paycheck, how much pressure is on the players to go out there and perform and live up to the money that the ownership group has invested in you?
I think it's a lot of pressure. I was blessed and fortunate to get a second contract. Not quite as big as Russell Wilson's, but, you know, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's a lot of pressure on you because now you feel like you have to prove your GM and your organization right. You know, they took a chance on me. Even though I've played well in the past, I still have to, you know, grab this torch and continue to play well.
Now, I know that this was on the front office's checklist to get out of the way before the season started, lock into a future with Russell Wilson. We're talking about week 1 already, even though the team is waiting till next week to do it. What is the feeling like as a player when you are in these final days leading up to finally the first game of the real season?
You're just getting real antsy. I think you start to sleep less and less every night. You start to, you know, visualize what's going to happen in the games. You're just really excited for the season to start because there's so much work, so much preparation. You think about OTAs and training camp and two-a-day practices. We've done so much to get to this point that now guys are chomping at the bit to get on that field.
And Russell's first game as a Bronco comes against the Seattle Seahawks, where he spent a full decade. He said that the game has to be, it can't be emotional. But how can it not be emotional when you're playing a former team, a team that you spent a decade with?
Yeah, if he's able to take his emotions out of it, that's definitely something I was never able to do. Because I know when we went back and played the Saints after I had left, I was full of emotions. I wanted to, you know, show them in the front office that they let somebody that could have been a help to their team and a potential great player for them go. So I really want to make my name and my presence felt. And I'm sure he wants to do the same, but if he's able to take his emotions out of it, hats off to him for sure.
And speaking of that reunion, I want your opinion here, and maybe yours too, Mick, because we got a couple of big-time reunions coming up in week 1. Baker Mayfield, a lot of circus already around that reunion with the Browns. And then, of course, Russ against Seattle. Which one do you think is the better storyline?
I really think that Baker Mayfield one is
a little more drama.
Crazy. It's a little bit more drama. With, you know, quarterbacks coming in while he's still there. Is he going to be there? Is he going to be their guy? Then he gets let go, and now he has to go through another quarterback, you know, trial and see if he's even going to be the starter. He gets named the starter, gets to go back home and play. I think that's going to be a great game.
And in Baker and Russ's scenarios, they're both extremely competitive guys. Now their personalities are diametrically opposed, but as a locker room, you know what these guys are going through. If you're Russell Wilson or Baker Mayfield's teammate, you know they want to go into Cleveland, they want to go in Seattle, and they want to whoop their former team. As a teammate, are you a hype man to get them ready for that matchup? And what's the role of the people around Russ as he's getting ready to go back to Seattle?
Absolutely. You're definitely his hype man, and you want that for him as a teammate. You want him to go out there and put on a show. So your job as his teammate is to do everything you need to make sure that he looks good. For Russell Wilson to throw, 5 touchdown passes, against the Seahawks, he's going to need wide receivers to do their job. He's going to need the O-line to block well, the running backs to have great games to, force the Seattle Seahawks to load the box so he can really do what he needs to do. That's on everybody's mind. Everybody wants to see him do well, so they want to do their part.
One more question ahead of Seattle, because I know we still have quite a few days to break down the leading into this game. What is something you want to see right out of the gates to say, all right, this is it, this Broncos team is the real deal? I
want to see them march down the field and score a touchdown on the opening drive. Whether it's running the ball with your 2 dynamic running backs, or it's throwing the ball with Russell Wilson and your plethora of wide receivers that he has. Having a strong drive, maybe a 10, 11 play drive to really start the game. I think that would be a nice start to the season and really give everybody hope for a phenomenal season for them.
All right, big thanks to Todd Davis once again. Well, series went up for grabs tonight in Atlanta. The Braves, they had a rookie on the mound, Spencer Schroeder. Set a new team record with 16 strikeouts. And then on the other side, you see this. Bats were alive for the home team. Rockies lose this one 3-zip. Turning the page quickly to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati. Well, that was Russell Wilson earlier today. He broke the bank. His agent and quarterback's ears, they perked up around the National Football League. What does this mean for new contracts around the NFL? We'll debate in tonight's Face-Off.
And rising tides lift all boats, right? So how the rest of the Broncos are reacting to Russ's new deal, that's coming up on Colorado Sports Night.
The Big Get on Colorado Sports Night is presented by KFC.
Welcome back. Our poll of the night asking this: does Russell Wilson's contract eliminate the possibility of fully guaranteed quarterback contracts in the future? 41% of you say yes. 58 say no. That brings us into tonight's face-off. Mick, we know the quarterback market, a wild thing. Just this summer alone, we saw Deshaun Watson get $230 million fully guaranteed. Kyler Murray, $230.5 million, $160 guaranteed. And yeah, neither of those guys have won a Super Bowl ring. So what does Russ's deal tell you, especially for those next quarterbacks looking to get paid?
It tells me that today was a great day for the NFL and all of their owners because, like you said, Deshaun Watson, who does not deserve a fully guaranteed contract, and in my opinion, he doesn't deserve a contract at all. After him, Kyler Murray didn't get a fully guaranteed deal, and last time I checked, Russell Wilson has playoff success in a Super Bowl, which Kyler Murray does not, and Russell Wilson has 0 off-the-field issues, which Deshaun Watson has multiple. So I think this is going to change the QB market in the sense that now owners will go to guys like Lamar Jackson and say, fully guaranteed contract? Nah, that was just a loan thing that the Cleveland Browns did, and we all know that that organization's kind of a dumpster fire.
I completely agree. I think now Deshaun Watson looks like a very isolated situation, not the norm or the new gold standard. So, yeah, kudos to whoever's paying Lamar's next contract. He deserves a big payout. That's for
absolutely.
Sure. All right, summer of superstars in Denver. Nikola Jokic, we know, signing that 5-year, $264 million max extension. And then Russ's deal we've been talking about. Both have championship or bust mentalities. Who gets it done first?
I think Russell Wilson, because the pieces around him allow them to win a Super Bowl quicker than Nikola Jokic, because I still think while the Nuggets are constantly in the playoffs, I still think that they're one big piece away from being able to go to the NBA championship and win it, whereas Russell Wilson, 7 years at the helm of the Broncos organization, and Russ has done it before. Experience talks.
You know, I do agree with you, unfortunately, because I think we might still be a year away for the Nuggets, but you know what? I'm going with Nikola Jokic here. I'm going all in on the Joker. I love the guy, and I hope we can hang a banner.
Just to disagree.
We need one. Yes, got to do it. All right, last one for you. Serena Williams back for round 3 at the U.S. Open tomorrow. She's playing loose. She's having fun right now, and we know that is dangerous when you're talking about Serena Williams. She says she's playing in her final tournament. If she wins it all, does she really hang it up? or does the competitor come out and she wants one more? What do you think?
There's a reason I'm sitting next to you and not on one of these fields of competition. I'm not even close to being the greatest at what I do, so it's hard for me to say. For me personally, if I go out with the win like Peyton Manning, I just want to ride into the sunset. A perfect ending.
And it seems like she does seem content. She's like, I got nothing to prove. I'm already the GOAT. This we know. But man, if she's standing at the top at the end, I don't know. We'll see. But I agree with you. I think she'll stick to the plan.
It doesn't matter what she does. She is the greatest of all time, and it's not even debatable. Serena will always be the greatest athlete in my mind, and Serena and Venus will always be my favorite sister-sister duo. Coming up, Russell Wilson's teammates react to the largest contract in the history of the Broncos organization.
But first, take a look at tonight's lineup. How about this? Colorado Mines losing tonight at Grand Valley State, a close one, 25-22 that final. Tomorrow, more college football fun. CU opens things against TCU at home. Kickoff at 8 o'clock. Football is family. Yeah, this was an easy choice for the best thing we saw on social media today. The first family of Broncos country, of course, the Wilsons, along with the Broncos brass. You love this picture. Put it in the Louvre. Russ and Sierra's kids, though, they're still in the show. Check out the sons, Win and Future, with the matching suits with their dad on such a big day. Mick Miller, do you love this picture?
Can I get adopted into the Wilson family, please?
We should ask them. I know they have room in that house.
Oh, especially with this new contract. Come on now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, we can always keep the conversation going. Follow us on Twitter. You can also follow the show at CO Sports Night.
And my jacket and my shirt are similar to Russ and the boys. I'm like a member of the family. All right, in the 6 years since Peyton Manning has retired, the team hasn't had a consistent force at the QB position. The next 7 years, it's Russell Wilson's time to lead this team, and his teammates couldn't be happier.
Let's go. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3. Broncos. Russell Wilson's $245 million extension is a big deal. His teammates say he's worth every penny.
He's been a great leader for us since he's been here, on and off the field. It can mean a lot for an organization. You know, I mean, talking about having a premier guy, you know, at that position, you know, what all teams around this league, you know, hope to have.
Winning tradition that he's had at the quarterback position, you know, his leadership, the way that he leads, the way that he motivates guys. So obviously as his teammate, you know, the past few months, I'm very happy for him.
Franchise quarterbacks are like Fabergé eggs. You protect them at all costs.
It's awesome to have a solidified quarterback for a very long time, and I'm happy for him, and I'm excited to, you know, protect and keep Russell Wilson clean.
Wilson has yet to throw a regular season pass for the Broncos, but the landscape changed when he arrived at Dove Valley. This team believes in itself, and that's something you can't put a price tag on.
Him being here is brought excitement, and has brought some a new level of, I don't know, expectations and hope that, you know, to our team and to this organization, and you know, to be able to have him around for years to come, somebody of his caliber, it's exciting.
It appears there is only one downside to today's news. Wilson may have to pick up a few more dinner checks.
Oh, he definitely gonna be picking up the checks. We definitely gonna probably be going and getting us a nice little dinner here pretty soon, you know, courtesy of young Russ.
Covering the Broncos, I'm Aaron Anderson.
Hey, I'm available for a dinner if you want to invite me. Now, the Broncos turn their sights to the Seattle Seahawks in Week 1. Monday Night Football in the house that Russell Wilson built is going to be electric. Speaking of electricity, we'll end the show on a high note. Mile High moment coming up after the break.
The lineup on Colorado Sports Night is presented by Centura Health.
It's the
A standing ovation fit for the Queens of Tennis. Tonight's send-off at the U.S. Open, our mile-high moment. Venus and Serena walking off the court together for what may be their last time playing doubles. These two are undefeated in pairs finals and have dominated this sport for decades. We will miss watching them compete on the court together. I wish they could have got the win tonight, man.
Two goats right there. What's on tap for tomorrow? The CU Buffs open the season on the home field against TCU. The over-under, Buffs 14-point underdogs.
All right. Congrats to Russell Wilson. Congrats to Broncos country. Congrats to Mick Miller.
Let's ride.
What a day. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here same time, same place tomorrow night.
Colorado Sports Night is presented by Hyundai. Get away with a great deal only at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit buyhyundai.com or your Colorado Hyundai dealer today.